History is not a line, it is a graveyard of secrets. We walk upon the dust of empires that thought they were eternal, yet they vanished, leaving behind only whispers and shadows. Today, we venture into the heart of the world's most enduring enigmas, a city of gold that drove men to madness, a colony that dissolved into the forest, and a sacred kingdom swallowed by the sea. Welcome back to Lost Worlds, Part 2. This is not just a journey through space, but through time itself, where the boundary between myth and reality dissolves. In the dense, suffocating humidity of the 16th century South American jungle, Spanish conquistadors followed a ghost. They called it El Dorado. For centuries, we believed El Dorado was a city of gold, a shimmering metropolis of wealth hidden beyond the next mountain range. But the truth is far more ritualistic and haunting. The legend began with the Muisca people of high-altitude Colombia. When a new chieftain rose to power, he was covered in balsam resin and dusted from head to toe in gold powder. He would then navigate to the center of Lake Guatavita on a raft piled with emeralds and gold, plunging into the frigid waters to offer his treasures to the gods. This was the gilded man, but to the European mind, warped by greed, a gilded man meant a gilded city. We follow the footsteps of Gonzalo Jimenez de Quesada, who led an expedition of 800 men into the interior. Only 160 returned. They found the Muisca, they found the gold, but they never found the city. The tragedy of El Dorado is that the search for it destroyed the very civilizations that inspired the myth. Explorers like Sir Walter Raleigh sacrificed their reputations and their sons' lives chasing a shimmering horizon that always receded. Even today, as LiDAR technology peels back the canopy of the Amazon, we find vast urban networks, cities of earth and wood, not gold, proving that while the gold was a fantasy, the lost world was real, just not in the way the invaders imagined. The greed of the old world blinded them to the sophisticated reality of the new, leaving us with a legend that remains the ultimate symbol of human hubris. August 1590. John White returns to the Roanoke colony after a 3-year delay caused by the Spanish Armada. He expects the joyous shouts of his daughter and granddaughter, the first English child born in the Americas. Instead, he finds a silence so heavy it feels physical. The houses are dismantled. The palisade is intact, but the settlers, 117 men, women, and children, are gone. No bodies, no signs of struggle, no cross symbol of distress. Only one word carved into a wooden post, Croton. For over 4 centuries, the fate of the lost colony has been the ultimate American mystery. Did they starve? Were they massacred? Or did they do something far more pragmatic? Recent archaeological digs at Site X and Hatteras Island suggest a narrative of integration rather than annihilation. We examine the Dare Stones, a series of inscribed rocks allegedly written by Eleanor Dare, detailing a harrowing journey inland. Though many are forgeries, the geological evidence of a massive drought during those missing years is undeniable. The settlers were likely forced to scatter, blending into the Lumbee and Croatan tribes. Imagine the cultural collision: Elizabethan English spoken in the longhouses of the Carolina woods. The mystery of Roanoke isn't just about disappearance, it is about the fragility of the colonial dream and how easily the forest can reclaim the efforts of man. It remains a chilling reminder that we are only ever a few missed harvests away from being erased from the map. Off the coast of Gujarat, India, the Arabian Sea hides a secret that challenges the very timeline of civilization. In the ancient Sanskrit epics, the Mahabharata describes Dwarka as a magnificent city built by Lord Krishna, with gates of gold and walls of silver. When Krishna left the earth, the text says the sea rose and reclaimed the city. For millennia, Western historians dismissed this as pure mythology. Then, in the 1980s and again in the early 2000s, marine archaeologists using side-scan sonar discovered massive stone structures 70 to 120 feet below the surface in the Gulf of Kumbat. These aren't just rocks, they are geometric bastions, walls, and paved streets stretching for 5 miles. Carbon dating of organic remains from the site suggests an age of 9,000 years, predating the Indus Valley civilization by millennia. If this is indeed Krishna's Dwarka, it forces us to rewrite the history of humanity. We dive into the murky depths with the National Institute of Oceanography, witnessing the barnacle-encrusted remains of a world that existed before the end of the last ice age. The implications are staggering. What else lies beneath the rising tides? Dwarka is the bridge between divinity and data, a testament to the fact that our ancestors' myths were often eyewitness accounts of geological catastrophes. It is a city that died in the water but lived on in the soul of a nation, waiting for the technology of the future to finally validate the memories of the past. What links a golden mirage in the Andes, a silent clearing in Virginia, and a sunken kingdom in India? They are the scars of human transition. El Dorado represents the death of indigenous sovereignty at the hands of greed. Roanoke represents the terrifying isolation of the pioneer. Dwarka represents the eternal struggle between man and the shifting climate. We lose these worlds because we fail to adapt, or because we are so focused on the horizon that we ignore the ground beneath our feet. As a historian, I have walked the ruins of many such places, and the lesson is always the same: no empire is too big to fail, and no city is too holy to sink. But as we uncover these lost chapters, we realize that nothing is ever truly gone. It is just waiting. We are currently living in the golden age of discovery, where satellites and submersibles are finding what our ancestors could only dream of. But there is one legend that transcends all others, a place not just lost in distance, but lost in the very earth itself. In our next episode, we leave the surface world behind to investigate the most controversial theory in the history of exploration. From the accounts of Admiral Byrd to the ancient Tibetan scrolls, we are heading down. Get ready for Part 3, The Secret of Agartha and the Hollow Earth. The journey is just beginning. The past is a mirror. When we look into the ruins of El Dorado, Roanoke, or Dwarka, we see our own ambitions and our own fears. Thank you for joining me on this expedition into the echoes of the vanished. If you want to see the hidden history of our world revealed, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. The legend of the Hollow Earth awaits. I am your guide through the shadows of time, and this is Lost Worlds. Until the next discovery.